Producer is the producer. Yes, we're trying to not to make sure that people are aligned in this topic and make sure to also use it in your advantage. So again, my experience is related to this topic and why I can be part of the FASI team or the group of people that could facilitate this masterclass, because I was in LCP and an LC that 80% of our exchanges actually were coming from OGX, and since 2017, we had a yearly project every year to start our term as an LC with interviewing all our focus universities. I was MCVP marketing in Ukraine. I don't need to mention why MCVP marketing is helpful for me, and I see the faces, so yeah, you get my point. MCVP marketing is very, very deeply connected with this, and also MCP Vice Intermedia. However, this masterclass is not only for marketing. It's not going to be talking about B2C. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to actually make it as general as possible, and we're going to make sure that you guys can understand why market research is very, very important, why you need to always dig deeper into analyzing your market and things like that. So, question to the chat. You can open your microphone and talk. It's fine. We have 1 hour. Why are you here? Why did you show up? Why? Yes, let's know. Let's hear from people in the chat or see. Come on, don't be shy. You're interviewing customers. It's okay, right?
Hi, Tim. I can share.
Go on. Go for it.
My name is Jayant Bhatia, and I'm the MCVP EVA, or operations, you can say, for ISEC in Slovakia. I'm here to dig a deep dive in market research and everything. I'm hoping that I will get to know the things which I do not know about market research, like how to identify the key aspects of a lead, and what are the things we can focus more upon, something like this. So that's why I'm here, and the strategies including to it as well. So I'm here for that, and I'm looking forward to the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We are going to Chantal, but let me just read Ada. Ada said one of the biggest, my biggest strategies for this semester is conduct market research in our entity, review the portfolio, and hopefully adapt better to the needs of our partners. Yes, we have a BD person also in here, and we go with Chantal, MCVP IGB of Greece.
Hi, everyone. Very happy to be here today as well. And I think I'm here mainly to be aligned with the direction and everything that we need to know regarding our market. And if there is some important points that we can tackle in order to have a better sales processes and peak as well. So mainly I'm very excited as well to learn more about it. That's it. And of course, based on the rest of what you guys said.
Thank you so much for showing up. Yep. Also, Natalia said, MCP marketing was in Russia to get more knowledge on how to conduct better researches and get valuable insights. And Lucia, MCP marketing wise in Italy, I want to support my commission better in pre-attraction. That's very cool. That's very nice. So, yes. So whether you're ICX, OGX, EYBD, MXP, marketing, I left it. I left the marketing because I told you. I don't need to mention why marketing should be here, is the fact that we all agree on the fact that this is a very hot topic. Everyone is actually, trying to align or relate every problem we have in the organization with market research. An entity is closing. What we do? Market research. We want to grow. Market research. We understand why we drop. Market research. So basically, we found ourselves as MCVP sometimes in a situation where either we're doing it, but it's not enough. Either we're doing it, but it's not efficient. Or we're not doing it at all, but we don't know how to start. And that's why probably we had the first session in this masterclass of why, how, and what of the market research. Why do we need a project like that in every entity? Today is going to be about asking the right questions. So mainly we went to the step of understanding why do we have it, which is also something that we're going to talk about a bit, but to actually how are we going to start doing this? So the expectation setting from this space, take it from a general perspective. I know you're coming from a different key areas, so take it from a general perspective. Questioning is based on a lot on your sense, experience, and this situation, and which country or entity you're coming from, and what is the timeline you're working on. So basically, it's based a lot on the sense experience and things like that. So that's why we wanted to take and approach everything from here in a general perspective, and then try to adapt it on what exactly do you need from this. And in-depth interviews are not absolutely necessary. So don't think that you're going to do, I don't know, like something very hard or something very complicated. We are trying to make it as simple as possible because it is actually simple. Last thing, you must have a final objective. You probably are here to understand the project, but if you are going to start doing it, you must have a final objective of why are you doing this. And that's why what we talked about in the previous session, but also we're going to mention it again in this one. So we go to the first part of this, which is before questioning. So we're going to start the form of questioning. We decided to ask people, to question people about some things, to interview some potential customers or potential partners, to interview some potential members also, because we have now the recruitment that needs to be conducted in a proper way and things like that. So before that, we're going to talk about the things that you need to have in mind. Okay, so first question you need to ask is, what is your hypothesis? Basically, people, and what are the things that we do wrong sometimes when it comes to market research, is to start it just because we need to do it. To start it just because part of our pre-attraction, for example, for OGX is to do market research, or for BD, for example, we do market research. But sometimes what is different between the person who executed in an efficient way and a person who executed but lost a lot of energy and time and effort on that, but probably it didn't pay off, is this question specifically, the objective, the final issue that you're going to tackle with this project. So what is that this is what the test of what is exactly you want to test with your questionnaire. What is exactly important to be clear when it comes to that? Where am I going to take my entity or my key area or my commission when I'm going to start this? And this is basically very easy for you to understand if I tell you that your commission also will commit to your project easily if they see the bigger picture, if they see where they're going at the end of the day, and also how it's going to be beneficial for them for every LC in your entity. We know that MC work is servicing, guiding, monitoring, but also people need to really follow sometimes the guidelines of MC. And one of the things that would make them not commit to this project, because it's a team effort, you cannot do it by yourself nationally. And even if you're, having a national run project, you need people with you. Sometimes it's the fact that you are not telling your people, where are we going to go with this one? So this is also something that you need to understand. And it influences a lot the questions that you're going to ask to your customers, because basically, if I know where I want to take this person or this partner, what do I need from them exactly, I know what kind of questions I can ask. I know how am I going to rank my questions, and how am I going to do this full form of people answering the questions, and what am I going to do with the answers later on. So first probably insight or input about this is you really need to understand the issue that you're tackling from the beginning. And if you don't have one, it means that you don't need it. You don't push your commission to do it if you don't understand where am I going to take them. So let's start with the basics. Let's say we understand my issue is that people are really, I don't know, if I am MXP, I'm not recruiting the members that I need to recruit. If I am, I don't know, OGX and marketing, B2C part, I'm not really getting people to apply to where I want to apply, or the potential people from my market are not really choosing the opportunities I want them to choose, and it's making my OGX life even harder. If I am BD, partners are not really aligned with what I want. It's really hard to target the right people. How am I going to start with that? So we're going to start by the basics, or with the basics, which are the variables that you're going to take into consideration, or you have to deal with during your journey of market research. There are independent variables, which are the things that you actually want to explain the relationship between them and the performance that you're having at the time. Basically, those are the socio-demographic variables. I want to understand how the economical situation in my country is influencing the choices of the people that are consuming my internships. I want to understand, I don't know, like, is the age a factor here? Is the gender is a factor here? And things like that. So basically, those are the variables that are there, that are not 100% included or inside your process or your customer flow. But basically, you want to understand to which extent these things are actually impacting your customer journey or the way you sell your products. The second one is the dependent variables, which are things that you are really, really dependent on. And basically here we're talking about the level of satisfaction of probably previous customers and what are the things that they are saying about GV, GTE, or what are the partners saying about the partnership that they did with ISIC, or what are they hearing about it. And also even in the middle of the first meeting, you start to understand how satisfied they are, or what kind of image or brand you have with them. Also, how much are they willing to consume what you are offering to them. If you are going to a person that is 100% not willing to do it because he or she cannot do it, or they're not fit into what you want to offer to them, this is also a variable that you need to deal with. So you cannot go directly to talk to people without taking into consideration some of the variables that are the biggest like consequences that you need to have to deal with in your environment, and the things that you want to understand or find a relationship between them and what you want to offer, and also the things that happen while you're offering your service, and what kind of response you're going to take from the customer, from the market, which we are trying to analyze right now. Yeah, and also if you have any question or something, you can just stop me and you can ask your question, okay? Just for also another thing that we need to set expectations on. So those two will maybe give you a clarity of how you approach and what kind of things, what kind of timeline you want to have and things like that, and also will help you with the next part. The next part is actually very, very important. Who will be filling the questionnaire? Who will be filling the form? Is actually something that looks probably simple, but it's not. Basically, if we understand the issue, if we took into consideration a lot of variables that we have, we will understand a lot about who are we going to ask. Sometimes some, I don't know, segment of the people you're dealing with is actually clear for you. I know how to work with these people. My issue is I don't know how to work with the other section or the other segment of people. I don't know how to work with this type, I don't know, people who want to go on GV. I don't know how to work with people who want to go or can go or eligible to go to GTA or GTE. This is the situation that probably some MCVPs find themselves in, that I know how to work with this part, I don't know how to work with the other part, or I don't know how to work with any part, and I need to understand even what are the segments that I have. It could help you also separate each segment and understand it part of the clarity of the who of this project. The first thing I want you to think about is think of the group of people that are relevant for your research. I talked about this already, but still, don't go to don't make people randomly go to everywhere and ask the same questions. Don't make them go without understanding what are they going to get also from every part of the market, which basically will explain the big issue that has a lot of sub-issues, and those sub-issues are your sub-segments, and those are the sub-segments you're going to target. So I told you, if I am okay with my attraction with OGV, if everything is okay, I understand this, no need to do it again. It's fine, because you're managing also the resources of your entity, and managing the resources of your entity means also you're managing the energy, the time, and the effort that your commission or you yourself or your NSTs or ESTs are going to put into this project. So make sure you know who is relevant for that. Whom do you want to fill the form, and also how are you going to reach them? This is also very important, because part of you understanding who is going to commit to this, or whom do I want to fill this form, you need to understand how are you going to reach them. Basically, reaching them is, I don't know, I'm going to check whether I need to go physically for universities to do that, or should I go to the partner, or I can do it online. So this also can be a situation for you where you choose your channel in more efficient way. And speaking of efficiency, this is also very important, because some people, I don't know, you would understand from the youth, the ISICers, the members that would tell you, hey, here in this country, or here from where I come from, we don't like long questions. We don't like short questions. We like more clarity in this. We don't want to spend our time standing up, filling things. We want things to be online. So basically, you're doing a market research about how are you going to do your market research before even starting it, but it's also simpler than the one that you're going to execute. And I will give you an example. An online survey has a lot of benefits. We all know that it makes you win time. It will make you reach more people, but also at the same time, sometimes it's not efficient. For example, if your respondents are older people, imagine yourself sending a form to a partner and you want to contact that partner and understand their level of satisfaction of your services, or you want to understand how are they envisioning the partnership with ISEC. That's also something, a situation that you can find yourself in. That's why we are doing a session only about questions, because it's very, very important. Do you have a question about this, or do you think of a situation that you faced before we go? Okay, cool. All clear so far? Let me see the thumbs. Amazing. All clear. So we have someone in the chat writing something. Yes. Okay. All cool so far. So speaking of the people that you want them to fill your form, those people are also different. Those people have a lot of types. And the part of the session here is also to explain the types that you might face during this form, and how can you make the best out of every type, and how can you unlock their full potential when it comes to answering the questions that you are going to offer to them. The first one we're going to talk about is the complex. We have the first one, the complex. Someone is very complex, you cannot really understand the answers that they're given. And this is like the nightmare for people who are going to do market research. The second one is self-justification. And I'm going to give everyone the explanation of every profile, but this is the second type you're going to face probably. Some people are unwilling to say, some people are quite cold. And the fifth one are people who are socially pressured to confirm some things. So those are the 5 types that you might face that are going to give you some hard time during the form. The other part, which is the person who's going to fill the form properly, 99% of the time is an ISECer, is the person who I'm not gonna talk about right now. So those 5 types are like this. As I said, complex is unable to remember the past. They're not, I don't know really how this can go. Maybe those are the type of questions you might face from those people. The people who are self-justification are basically given reasons to rationalize their answer. Hey, I know about your ISEC. I don't know. I don't care about this. I don't want to be on exchange and things like that. So you might get some aggressive responses from them. And those people, you maybe you want to make them believe that they're riding the boat. Maybe you want to give them more time to talk and make them also ask the questions, so you can put them in the mood and get from them as much as you want. Some people are unwilling to say their opinion, and they find hard time answering sensitive topics because, of course, part of your market research is you asking some things about some sensitive topics, your expenditures, your budget, can you travel? Is it okay for you to do this? Or if it's a partner, I don't know, like how much are you willing to offer a salary and things like that. So maybe some people are really hard to deal with sensitive topics that are very difficult to say because of shame, I don't know, like, or not knowing how to express it also. And, you know, if we're dealing with students, we will face this problem a lot. Some people are quite cold, one-word answers, limited communication, and very, very quiet. It's very hard for them to rate things. It's very hard for them to go for a full answer that would help you understand their needs. And of course, the fifth one is the person who just agrees with people or disagree because of, you know, the pressure from their group, their university. Hey, I don't want to go on exchange because my friends don't like it, or in my university we don't do that. You know, things that people are not very independent from the society and they have a lot to confirm to people. You might also want to approach these people with groups also, you know, hey, if you feel like this is something, a general perspective that they're getting not from actually experiencing ISEC, you might want to, you know, offer more guidelines to this person, make them, you know, a promoter before you even make them a customer. You make them a promoter, you explain everything about ISEC so they can, you know, go to their circle and maybe try to, you know, prove or confirm to the society that, hey, I'm going to do this because of this and this and this. I'm going to do this internship because, you know, it's going to help me in the future, or things like that. Even for partners, you know, I heard that the other company didn't like ISEC, or they don't want to work with organizations, and I don't think I'm going to do it. So basically, those are the 5 types you might face during your market research project while asking the questions that you're going to ask. And it's very, very important to understand the personality and the character of the person receiving your questions responded, so you can understand what kind of questions you can throw to them. And before questioning, I mean, in general, with these people, it's better for you to, for all the types, every person possible, to understand each other by getting to know each other. So don't just go to, the person and start talking like those people who do in the supermarket trying to sell you cheese. You're not selling people cheese. You're going to, offer a service to people, so you could understand better what they want and what are their motivations. And of course, understand their character traits, the ones that we were talking about before. So you could understand even if we're gonna have the same questions for everyone, the way you're asking the questions, the script that you're going to use while asking those questions is kind of different from one type to another. And that part of getting to know each other between the eye-seeker and the person who's getting interviewed, no matter how age or function or job they're having, is very, very important. Yeah, and also you should find similarities sometimes, because they need to trust you a lot. They need to make sure that they are trusting the person in front of them, and that you're not only interviewing them to take their money or to make them join ICE. They can do a lot of hard tasks. This is what people could think sometimes during the process of answering questions. So maybe this will give them this will make it a bit uncomfortable for them to offer or share all the information that you need. And our main objective, our only and main objective, is for us to get clarity on the issue that we're trying to fix, so we can fix it and try to grow with Isaac. And also set expectations from the beginning. Hey, this is, I don't know, a 7-minute or 10-minute talk about this and this and this. We want you to, give us your insights, inputs about this. We're not actually sending you right now to an exchange. We're not recruiting you right now in ISEC. We're not doing a partnership right now with you. We just want to understand your insight. So when we're going to meet along the way, we are going to offer services in a way that you are going to appreciate, like, and also take advantage from. Okay, of course, privacy objective, make sure that they understand that they're, the things that they're going to say or share with you are private. Respect the privacy of people. Don't push people to answer on everything. And some people, as I said, are not comfortable with that and open to share because all the answers are accepted. So I don't get an answer from a person who say, I don't think you should answer this question on this way or something like that. Try to, accept the answers, accept every reaction possible. Some people know people who went on exchange with ISEC and didn't like their experience. So probably you will not get the answer that you expected from the beginning. But it's okay for you to be open to share and be open to listen to people sharing to you. So, because if you have the mentality of all answers are accepted, you are going to, rebrand yourself or brand yourself in a good way with potentially your customer, your member, or your partner. So to summarize this part, from general to specific when it comes to questions or the way you ask questions, go from general to specific. General part could be an introduction about ISEC, what we do, things like that, and then go to specific. Even the first questions, make sure that they are general. And also from easy to difficult, first you start asking about your behaviors and things, and then you even go to the attitude, to feeling, what would you do if this happened? How do you feel about this? How do you feel about going do that, and things like that. From spontaneous to pro, make sure that you this part of the first part is very fluffy, having fun, friendly, things like that, and then you go to more serious things when it comes to questions, because they need to gain trust from them. And if you have a negative thing to ask about, please don't start with it. So your form should be starting from positive to negative. That's also the first impression that they will get about you, and we don't want them to get the first impression of you asking negative questions. They will not listen to the other part. So if you want to ask, I don't know, how do you feel about going on life-changing experience in another continent? This is what's gonna happen. I don't know. But how do you also feel if, I don't know, like you're not gonna get paid for that, or you have to pay for your accommodation? What do you feel about that? So basically, we show them the bright side of the story, but then we went to ask about the limits that we have as an organization that we cannot solve. Yeah, and of course, every issue they have is your issue. So basically, if they have an issue that is similar to with a similar organization or with ISEC and things like that is your issue, because at the end of the day, we're trying to understand behaviors, we're trying to understand attitude, preferences from the market and things like that. So you might want to include their issues in your issues also, so you can make sure to know what kind of message you throw to them. So this is the pre-question or before questioning part. Before we go to the questioning part, I want to listen from you. What do you think? Probably some questions and things like, can you explain more spontaneous to probe? Basically, don't make it look like a robot is asking you questions. You know, don't, like I told you, don't go there and start asking you questions. The first part of the interview, or them filling the form, or even the form that you're going to launch, the way you design it to people and the way you start doing the things and the introduction it should look very cool and very spontaneous, and it's for everyone. And then you go directly to, you know, whatever you want to, you know, dig deeper into what they think, what they want, what they feel. Maybe you might, you know, want to slow down a bit in this part, so at least there is not really, I would not say it's a relationship, but you know, a common objective or trust between the two, so you can, you know, reach what you want to reach. Yeah, that's basically what I meant by that. But yeah, thank you so much. Who else want to ask about this part? In which, my opinion, this is the most important part of them all. So because it sets the mood for all the project or you preparing the form. No questions, no inputs. We go. Oh, good. Yes, all good. So now the questioning part. I'm gonna do it in 5 big parts. The first one I want to talk about, and which is something that I saw a lot in people, is people leaving room for subjective interpretations. Basically, if you have a question that you want to ask people, should not really, you know, start asking questions without first definitions. We might also go to someone and start talking about GV, GTA, GTE, and they don't even know what's happening in the organization. They don't know what are the products and what kind of benefits. So maybe, and as I said from the beginning, the first part should be about you introducing and doing a lot of definitions about what are we doing, so that they can, you know, go with the flow with what you want. All terms, concepts, and quantities used in your issue, hypothesis, questions should be defined. You should not only ask a question that is not defined. If you're going to ask about something technical, make sure to explain it before asking it, even for online. Okay. Thank you for sharing.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for my mic. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Why it happens? It's okay.
I apologize.
And avoid vague expressions like a lot, very little, old, I don't know, like things that are, I don't know, they ask you a question or expression, you say, I think that it's not too long, or things like that. Or maybe you might want to start using things that are 100% concrete, or ranges. If you don't know the range, if they ask you about something during the interview, or if you want to ask them how much are you willing to offer of working hours per week, it's better for you, you know, if they ask you, or if you want to give them options, give ranges, or give the actual working hours that you're asking from members. Same with exchange participants, especially when it comes to money here. If you're going to ask them about the budget, make sure you give a range that is very realistic. Don't tell them above this or under this or whatever. It's not going to be helpful for you. The second part is, don't miss writing a short introduction. Like I told you, you can build this part when it comes to relationship with your people, build trust, understand that most of the time they don't know who you are, and you come to ask them about, I don't know, some specific personal things that you're going to need from them. So it's impossible or even improbable for some people to really go with your flow if you don't really introduce like the part where you're going to introduce what you want from them specifically from this form. Of course, the way we approach the form or the questions is not the same that the customer would approach it. So maybe the tongue or the script that you're going to use with them is kind of different from them. We want to improve our services. We want to do that. We don't have to tell them that, I don't know, I'm doing advertisements and it's not working. This is not something that the customer would be interested in listening to, or the partners or something like that. You can use the thank also for them, like, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for standing with us. You know, be very nice, be very kind, because like I told you, it's like you're going to a person and you need to, you know, talk about yourself. I don't think I'm going to talk with a person about myself, if they're like doing like this and they're strict with me and they're not really, I don't know who they are and what they're going to do with the information I'm going to give them. Yeah. Have short questions or shorter questions. Some entities are already having market researches, and by the look of it, sometimes if I was filling the form from this market research, I would not probably be interested in finishing the form sometimes, or I would not be interested in standing for 15 minutes or 20 minutes of my time standing up. And I'm coming from Tunisia, a country who has like 40 degrees of heat. I will not be standing in the heat listening to someone for 20 minutes. It's not going to happen for me. So make sure you make them shorter. We're youth. Like, mostly we're interviewing youth. Of course, the partners part is important, but the partners also have meetings and some important things to manage. So we cannot, offer them a long thing or a long conversation that first, even if we know where it's going, is people will lose interest in the middle of all of this. So keep in mind that the people often rush through questionnaires. They don't like to, answer questions and don't take time to carefully read or listen to instructions. So basically the first part of instructions, make it short, but also make it very, very interesting. And the second one is that just go and fill your own form and see if you are really willing to do it or not, if you are really willing to answer those questions or not. And make sure that this is something clear. And also the language used is very, very important. And at the same time, people will not get bored filling it. Is there an answer to your question? That's the last thing I want to do from the general ones before going to some other instructions. Some people, and sometimes even for other companies, you go to a website and people ask you some questions that probably sometimes you don't have the concrete answer to. If you ask them, most respondents will come up with an answer. Of course, they will come up with an answer because you asked them to answer them. So I don't know, they won't tell you, I don't know, most of the time, but they will come up with an answer that is probably not as honest as you want it to be. I don't know, I gave the question of how much money did you spend on coffee for the past 3 years? They would probably say, I would say, I don't know, $10 per week, which is, they will start counting. We don't want to have this situation at all. We don't need this. We need them to give us clarity on how to approach them. So it's not smart to actually give questions or put questions there that we're not sure about the answer. And here also, it's much more better if you put rates in every question you have. People would answer you with sentences, so we can understand what are the most repeated words from them, and you will see this in the next session, but also to make them rated so that the question will be answered properly and concretely. And more instructions about this when doing the questions and when launching the questions. First, use the languages and phrases that your respondents will understand. Here, I'm not talking only about the abbreviations of ISAC and things like that, but even more. Take into consideration their language, their education level, their age. Sometimes, I don't know, some people are not that advanced to understand things about impacting the world, about, I don't know, like going on an internship, doing a full-time job, or things like that. Make it very simple and user-friendly, and take into consideration a lot what kind of people are going to fill your form. Questions that are already a hint for an answer are forbidden. Don't use questions that will hint an answer to the person that you're going to interview. This is not going to help you a lot. You might listen or hear to the answer that you want to hear, but this is not going to give you the perspective or the clarity that you want. So make sure to avoid that part of you interviewing them, because this is exactly what is going to give you a fake output that will not help you and will make you still standing in the same bubble that you wanted to get out from the beginning. And make sure all the possible options are there if you're making a list of the things that you want them to choose from, or if they ask you about a question and you need to tell them with every option what is it, or I don't know, what are your preferences from these countries or these projects or things like that. Make sure that the options are there. Avoid the others part. Make sure to give them as many options as possible that are for sure written in a short sentence and clear, so they can choose from the things that they want. And from our side, we offer them the most we can offer. Of course, we have limits in ISAC. Of course, we can be limited, but still we can offer them as many options as possible so they can choose and commit to our project, the market research project. So before going to the workshop or things like that we're going to do, I want you to ask questions or inputs about this. Maybe also I want you to share if you did it in your entity and what do you think worked and didn't work. Okay, could you please give an example of a question with a hint and it can be rephrased? Yeah, I can. For example, I don't know, like you ask them, do you like internships in Egypt? That's it, already done. You know, it's better to ask them where you want to go. Or for example, do you like to be a member for a department that has more touch points with partners that you, I don't know, you give them a whole job description while asking the question and you expect them to, you know, give you an honest opinion about what they think so you could recruit them in the best way possible. You know, even with partners, sometimes we tend to do this. We tend to give them hints about what we want to hear from them while asking them the questions because we are afraid, or maybe we don't really value our services to that much to the point that we are afraid of losing the partner. But sometimes our services are very interesting, or most of the time, that we want them to tell us what we want to hear and we skip that part. Yeah. I'm here for the answers and questions. We still didn't do any market research. We had the previous term, and honestly, it was helpful especially for us to know the content we will be working on and focus on our social media communication and so on. Yep, thank you so much, Asma, for your sharing. Also, this is like if you're going to be part of this, we encourage you to actually share with each other because we're going to have the workshop in 1 minute, and it's gonna make you also talk with each other as MCVPs because every entity do it in their way, and it's very interesting to see how it's done. It's being done from, you know, even outside of Europe or in other regions. No more questions, inputs. That's it. We go. Okay, we're going to breakout rooms. We are, I think, 14 people, so we can go with 4 groups of 4. And let me explain you what we need from you exactly. So the first thing is that you will be a group in a breakout room, and that's very important for you to first share your perspective about what you understood from the session, but also talk about your entity situation. We want you to come up with a hypothesis or an issue that your market research will be based on. Here, of course, it can be a fake one. It's fine. 4 of you would agree that we are going to target this issue, or it can be also inspired from one of the entities of that MCVP or multiple entities from that MCVP that, I don't know, like we are going to tackle this issue specifically. That's why we're doing the market research. The third thing is you have to create a maximum of 10 question form and present it to everyone now. So basically, we are going to practice everything that I talked about from the start of the session until now, and we're going to do it in groups, and then we're going to present and maybe feedback each other. Of course, there is no right and wrong. We are just here to practice, so don't think that, you know, we need to come up with a real situation. It's not the case, and the real work is actually coming. It's not now. It's coming with your commissions and stuff like that. So, you ready for the breakout? We do the breakouts of 4. You can join your breakouts right now, and then I'm sending you the PPT. So I will show you exactly what is needed from every group. Wait, let me just show this. So you will find it here like this, the issue, the big why am I doing this, and then the timeline, when am I doing it, because I mentioned from the beginning, it's very important to understand the timeline, whom am I targeting, and also the questions. And you will have 10 minutes for this, and then we will present. Let me create the rooms. Wait. Okay. Open our room. You can go. Wait, let me assign automatically. Here. No more breakout, I guess. Yeah, it started 5 minutes late, so that's why probably we didn't have much time for that, but it's okay. We're going to, if it's possible, take 3 minutes from your time just to listen to everyone, just every group. It's okay. Don't present everything. Just tell us like your thinking process and why did you choose this issue. Let's say I'm gonna start by group 3. Give you some time, group 1 and 2, to add some other questions. I understand, but also you need to focus on what they're saying. So group 3, just one person to present.
Okay, I guess I can present. Yeah, so we decided to choose the hypothesis about it, to test the hypothesis for heading to the future. And it's like youth lack practical experience in universities. That's why I look for external opportunities to gain these practical skills. And when we're going to have this research, it's July, August, it's the attraction peak. So, and we're targeting young people, mostly university students in the age of 20 to 22. And we created 10 questions. So we want to know the area of the studies and the year in the studies. Also, we want to know how confident they are about the future and why. Like, we want them to rate this confidence and give us some reasons. Then we ask the questions like if they plan to work in the area they are studying right now, or they want to choose a different career path. And also we ask if they had any internship experience before. Also, we want to know if they already work, if they already have a part-time or full-time job, and if they combine it with their studies. Then we asked some questions about the skills, like what skills they think are important for their work area, and which skills they already have, and give them the list of the skills. And then how do they develop the skills they need to develop their future job. And also we add the question about the criteria that makes them trust in external organizations. Like that.
All right, thank you so much. You can put in the chat everything that you want to feedback or ask this group, because we need to also listen from other groups. And also I'm going to contact everyone who's going to present to give them the feedback from our side about the presentation. Cool. So Natalia, you're going to have the feedback by today. Amazing. We go to group 2. Oh, group 2. Sneaky. Okay, who's gonna
I can share from group 2.
Okay.
We were a group and we were in 3 people, like Gaurav and Lucia were there as well. So our thinking was basically to know about the hypothesis was mainly related to what kind of exchanges people usually prefer, whether like in general, getting a broader perspective for this. So we tried to work upon it, and based on that, our timeline would be before pre-attraction. Starting working upon it before pre-attraction, because we need to design it for LCVPs and everything. So if we have some data before that, it would be good for all of us. And target audience would be basically the people from age 18 to 30 years. It includes college students, professionals who are working as well, because they can develop their career as well through internship. So yeah, that's fine. Broader group. And then the general questions, we will start like the name, age, field of education, something like this, and field of work if they're working already, like I'm working already, so like this. And will you be interested in working professionally, like to upscale their, like what they're doing currently, to upscale their professional journey right now, like professional or student journey through some exchange or volunteer position. And what do they feel in order to become the best version in both the personal and professional self, in both the term, personally and professionally as well. These kind of question we will kind of absorb, because this will require minimum efforts from their end, because they can think about themselves more than. And then will they be interested in going abroad, and in which field, like general questions again. And then this one, like we were still thinking, but yeah, these are the main questions we come up with, like why do you think this journey can help them? So this question would be in the end, because this might lead to them the end concentration, like yes, this is the reason from the upper portions, they can realize these are the reasons. And if there's anything that need to be added, Lucia and Gaurav can share, I guess.
Yeah, I guess we
Thank
need to. Thank you so much, group 2. Thank you so much. And my only issue for now, like it's very, very clear for me before we go, is this part, is because we this is like the whole situation with this project, is we need to have specific time. That's why I asked about the timeline, but apart from that, you went with a cool direction. So thank you, group 2, for your sharing. And we go with the last sharing of our group 1, who is going to share.
So Chantal is sharing.
Yes, of course. About group 1, we were a bit confused at some point because we were talking about different stuff. So we were having partners and OGX leads, PD. So we were kind of having this, how can I say, not crisis, but thinking how can we actually have one hypothesis and why we're doing this. So we kind of merged many stuff together. So firstly, how to have OGX people all leads and understanding better the market through segmentation when it comes to OGX or also, youth or also partners. We couldn't actually fix the timeline, honestly, but what we have been thinking is that the question would be more about how would the partner or the young person interested in understanding about ISEC as an organization, since you also have this topic of how can we have a retention of pipeline, and when it comes to PM or TM or MXP, whatever it is in each entities, yes. And also we're talking about how can we have interested people contributing to the SDGs implementation, for example. How can we be more interested in expanding the showcasing of a certain partner's company or its knowledge through EPs when they go back to their countries. So this can be a selling point as well, through them opening opportunities that we would provide for them. And finally, what would they say to being able to improve the diversity in the employee base using our exclusive talent programs? So we try to be a bit general in many aspects. So yes, this is mainly what we were talking about. But
Thank you so much. I guess, Chantal, we cannot hear you anymore.
oh, I'm sorry. I hope you can hear me now.
No,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, that's all.
Thank you so much. Thank you really so much, people, for your contribution. And yeah, I mean, this is just for you to get the perspective of what people might go through during the market research. And also, this is also a conversation that you will have with your commission, probably with your MC team, with your co-MC people that are going to work on this project. So we wanted to give you like a simulation, a quick one about what you're going to have, and we're going to feedback this small thing by sending the message to the people who presented. We're going to try to collect your Telegram later on. So Market Research Masterclass, all this masterclass and series of sessions are deeply connected to one big topic we always struggle at as a region, as an entity, and everywhere we're going to have. At the end of this masterclass, we're going to have a final project to present if you want, which could be also to finalize your market research project. So we want to make sure that these things are not going, we're not going to come here and talk and that's it. We want to make sure that every MCVP in this call, every entity in this call, or registered in this masterclass would be able to have their own market research draft, and then they're going to, make it with their commission, and we're going to be there for, of course, feedback and try to improve, because this is why we had this from the beginning. So it's a practical one, and I really push you to take a look at every session before and after this one, so you can get the full picture of it. And next topics will be data analysis from XP, data analysis from exchange products, insight users, whose 3 of them are recorded sessions, and they're going to have also call to actions for you. And then how to conduct market research on MC and LC level. Those are 2 live sessions that will be conducted next week, and you will be having the communication in your emails. And thank you so much for your time. Sorry again for taking more than I should. I was waiting for you all to come so we can start. So thank you so much again for this beautiful afternoon, and go have lunch. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.